Hey, junkies. Okay, look, I totally threw some makeup on, but I just got out of bed and I still have my pajamas on, but I wanted to get a video out because I really am still trying to work on my algorithm for YouTube, right? Okay, so I'm trying to build my channel because I would really love to retire and, well, not retire, but I would really love to be able to make a living every month and live off of YouTube. Now, listen, this is the video that I want to talk about. Okay, because you guys know that I totally love the subject of love, right? Like, my whole channel's about love. I love love. I love to talk about love. I write fairy tales about love. And so that is the title of this video today. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. You guys remember that song? Anyway, I'm so old, right? Okay, so what is love? Basically, what love is your connection with source or your inner being, right? So many times I think people use the word love and they throw it around like it's this haphazard word, right? And I think the thing is that people equate love with a particular condition or a type of attachment, if that makes any sense. Like, when you love someone or you're showering someone with love, basically, when you feel love in your heart and love within your inner being, you are connected to source, right? That means basically that you're in complete alignment. And I'm always going to use relationships because that's the biggest thing that I think that we all want in life, right? Is that we want to have love. We want to feel love. Or what is love? And sometimes I think people don't understand, like, in a relationship, I'll see people that are in relationships or they've been in relationships for a long time or but it's like, you would say, oh, well, I love that person, in the relationship. But, like, are you in love with the person? You know what I'm saying? And, like, is there a difference? So I was kind of digging deep into this and, like, doing some, like some type of work or whatever, like some internal work and everything, and, like, just researching it and everything and trying to figure out, like, what goes wrong in relationships and how sometimes relationships in the very beginning, most of the time, relationships in the beginning, when you meet up with someone, right, you feel this sense of love and you're like, maybe not straight away, but you're in that mode and that momentum of that vibrational frequency of feeling that sense of love. Like, you're showering this person with all the beautiful aspects and you want to see the beautiful, perfect parts of this particular person. But then later on down the line, what normally happens in relationships is that we start using conditions or attachments to this particular person, because what we do is we equate the beginning, particularly, okay, let me use an example. Like, in the beginning, when you use I'm going to use my relationship. Okay, so, like, in a relationship, when I have in the past gotten into a relationship, and I would be, showering this person with all this love, and you see only the beautiful parts of them, and you only see the goodness in them, and you always give them the benefit of the doubt, and you always think, oh no, I think I'm going to see, and the reason that we do that is because we are feeling this sense of love, what source is, what the universe is, what our inner being is, that we're showering this person with love. That means we're basically, love equals alignment, right? But then what starts to happen is that we slowly, over time, start to use this particular person as our source. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as our inner being. Like, I love you. Like, so you need to hold the condition and the attachment to how you felt originally with that particular person forever. And when that doesn't happen, because no one can be your alignment for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one can hold you in alignment besides yourself. But so many times what we do is we use another person as our source of alignment. So when that person starts to misbehave, so to speak, quote unquote, or doesn't do things in the way that we want them to do, like you're not loving me the way that you used to, you're not respecting me the way that you did in the beginning, what you're doing is expecting this person, they're going to run for the hills. Like, you can't expect someone to stay in alignment continually and always shower you with you being the object of their attention forever, because that is, we didn't come to earth to do that. You're expecting someone else to hold alignment and love for something that you're supposed to do for yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we start to use these attachments, like this person isn't doing what I need them to do. Like, they need to change this condition. Like, you need to change this condition so that I can feel good, because I don't feel like I used to feel the way that you used to make me feel. Do you see what I'm saying? But what we've done once again is use this other person as almost like our, well, not almost, but we have used this other person as our alignment, which is not what we're ever supposed to do. And have you ever noticed in relationships, like, that's what causes most relationships to fizzle out and like die, because we're expecting this particular person to be something that they were never intended to come to the earth to be. They are supposed to be their alignment for their own particular selves, not anyone else. But in relationships, and this particular thing called, you know, relationships, that's why people end up calling it bondage, because you want to freaking run for the hills, because it's like, you know what? You're doing all kinds of shit that I don't like, and this isn't making me feel good, and like, you're flirting with that girl, or you're doing this, or you're doing that, or whatever. And I totally get it, you guys. Like, that's exactly what, like, I don't know, is that why they call it institutionalized? Like, marriage is institutionalized because it feels like an institution. But here's the thing, and like, if you can get to that sense of freedom in your life to where, like, I did that in my past relationships, but I know that when I started to love myself unconditionally and like use no one else as that person to almost like bookmark my own alignment for me, for Raquel, like, I was able to see everybody freely. Like, even in the beginning, like when Jeffrey and I first got together, you know, I had put in my vortex all of those years and all those relationships that I had been in the past. Those things thwarted in the end. Like, they completely rebound. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's because I was expecting these people to perform and do something for me in our relationship that they aren't capable of doing consistently forever and never stopping. Do you know what I'm saying? And that is personal alignment. That is loving self, being connected with your inner being. And no one can disconnect you from your inner being except for you. You know, when you start using other people in place of your own personal alignment, that's what causes you to feel like shit, because you're like, but this person's doing this, and they're doing this, and they're doing this to me, and you take it on as if you think that like they're personally doing it to you. Now, you always attract what you're thinking about, or whatever kind of particular things that you struggle with that might be in your momentum, or you're not aware that they are. They could be stagnant for a long time, or they could be like you didn't think that maybe like you had this particular vibrational frequency going on within you, because you thought that maybe it was stagnant and it was like dead, you know. But then you realize, like, okay, why is this happening to me, and what is causing this particular situation to happen to me? And I think what it is that sometimes those things do lie dormant within us, and they could lie dormant for a long time, but if we give them some kind of active sense of attention by focusing on those particular things, they will become very active. I can guarantee you it will always happen. So in my past relationships, before I became, you know, connected to my own soul, loved my own inner being more than I loved anyone else, connected with my birthright, which is my internal being, and mating with my own soul, I never saw that as a, you know, I realized like, okay, I was doing that to my ex in my ex relationships. in my previous relationships. And I was also it being done to me in a relationship. Do you know what I'm saying? So the more you try to basically what mine was is when you have this sense of lack of trust. Like I have had to work on building trust, and that is building trust within myself. Not trusting a man, not trusting this person or trusting this person to do this. Like that is not your job, is to trust other people. And that may sound really, really hardcore. And I can understand that. But let me explain to you that you need to get to the point to where you are so freedom thinking and you are so aligned with your own inner being and your own soul that you can be in a relationship and you can say, and I'm going to give you a catch-22 because I know I'm going to hear that. But okay, so you have to get to the point to where in your relationship you say, I like you pretty much. Let's see how it goes. Because once you start to put stipulations and attachments and conditions in a relationship, it's going to freaking go haywire. I can promise you it will at some point. I mean, you might be married freaking like I used to be for 20-something. Relationship will always thwart. I promise you that it will always thwart. And if you say, oh no, we have a really good relationship, or, I've talked to many of my friends and stuff, and many of them been married 17 years, 20-something years, 5 years, 3 years, whatever. And it's like, oh no, things are good, things are really good or whatever. But there starts to become these things that you pull into a relationship. And it's just human nature, I think. Unless we can get to that huge, huge part of ourselves where our internal being is all that matters. Like everything that matters to me is my alignment. So whatever the hell Jeffrey is doing, I still have to worry about my own alignment. I can't control him. And the more that you think that you can control, and I don't know if this stems from having a childhood that was like abusive or coming from a childhood that had a lot of trust issues based on my dad and him being an alcoholic and stuff. There's remnants that fall through the cracks, and you don't think that those things have an implementation on your life, but they actually have a lot of little things. And let me just tell you, like, as much as I would love to have a new little baby Stafford and come to the earth and want to raise this beautiful soul in a perfect alignment and treat it as such and never have any contrasting moments, and this thing is going to be just perfect, and we want to have a bubble around them and only create wonderment and happiness and joy and all that kind of stuff. We are physical human beings having an experience that's spiritual, and so that would be kind of like naive to actually think that can be, or that's the optimal opportunity in life, right? As much as I want a new little baby, I would hope that they have contrasting moments, because we all need those. Because how are we going to know what we want and what we're throwing into our vortex and our escrow if we don't have contrasting moments? Like, we don't need to raise children in this like bubble of just, Disneyland. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so important. And so what my whole point was is that I'm happy that I had these moments, these distrusting issues with my family and my parents, and it was dysfunctional and it was chaotic and all that kind of stuff, because it has taught me so much. Like, I am so appreciative of that. Like, that's really coming full circle, if you can say that. Like, I have expanded so much in knowing that I love my life. Like, I don't care that, there was abuse in my home, and there was a lot of things that were very contrasting in my life. But you know what? I'm really super happy and grateful for those things, because it taught me, and especially my relationship with my exes or whatever, it taught me what I know I freaking don't want in a relationship. And so that was one of the things, is that I never had trust. I always had trust issues, right? And so when you have trust issues, you basically match up And that's what my next video is going to be, because timing is everything, and like you're a mirror reflection of everything that's going on vibrationally with you. So obviously, if I had trust issues, all my past relationships were going to have, those particular men were going to have trust issues as well, right? So you put it together, and when you're not out of alignment and you start using all these conditions and attachments in a relationship after, you know, the happy fairy tale life of the beginning of the relationship is gone out the window, you start holding each other accountable for how you feel all the time, right? And so that's exactly what you do. And the more that you try to hold someone accountable for your own personal alignment that you're supposed to be getting on your own, it's going to cause them to even do more of what you don't want. Have you ever noticed that? The more you don't want something and the more you pay attention to it, pay attention to it, pay attention, that's the more you get of it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's law of attraction. Like, you get everything you think about, even if you don't want it. And that's the effed up part of it, the whole thing, is because you think, well, no, that's not what I want. I would never want that. Why would I want that? That's not me. That's stupid to think that, Raquel. No, it's law of attraction. You get what you think about. So whether you want it or not, the laws of the universe are non-inclusive. So that means anything you think about, you're going to get it. There's never a no of you not getting anything in life, right? So the more you say, no, I want someone to trust, I want someone to trust, I want to trust someone, I want to trust someone, I want to trust someone. Well, you're going to get someone to trust you, but you're also going to attract those aspects of people that, if you're struggling with trusting yourself, you're going to get that exact issue in another person, because they're a mirror reflection of what you are exuding. Does that make sense? Like, I'm really handsy today, aren't I? I hope I don't have lipstick on my teeth. I think I went all around the board on this bullshit video, but it's not a bullshit video. It's a very good, informative video. But what I wanted you to understand is what love is, because love is basically alignment. And love is anything that you're showering your love, that pure alignment filled, just gushiness, and everything's blissful and everything's wonderful. You know, the way that you treat an animal, you know what I'm saying? Like your pets or whatever. Like when I pet my rabbit or my dogs, or, you know, or you admire, you know, a beautiful little baby, and you're giving and all this mushy love on this particular person or thing or whatever, you know, and usually it's in, you know, relationships. Obviously it's in relationships. That's a big part of our lives, right? You are in complete alignment, and that means you're in alignment with. That's why it feels so good, because that is your feeling what source is raining down on you, which is complete and utter alignment. And there's only goodness, and there's only it's purity, and it's unconditional. And so anyway, so my whole point of bringing this back to home is recognizing what love is, taking responsibility for your own alignment, right? Your own self-love. And that's your job. That's your only job. Your job is not to worry about your spouse, worry about your kids, worry about this person, or worry about that family member. Your job is to stay in alignment. And if you can do that, you will see everyone in an unconditional, loving way, right? And you won't need to have hooks in them. I always had to throw the swimming thing in there, you know, the mermaid thing. But it's important to not hook someone into believing that the love that you have should not be greater for anyone else other than yourself. And does that sound selfish? Yes. I practice selfishness. We came to the earth. When it comes down to it, you can love another person, but you are always going to put yourself first. Your feelings are always going to matter, no matter what, regardless of anyone else. You might love them beyond measure, But I guarantee you it will always come down to the selfishness of a human being is that we please ourselves first, no matter what. And that's our job. That's our job, is to please ourselves and to make ourselves happy first. And so you can't give anything else to anyone else except rules and conditions and attachments and all kinds of like just bondage, in relationships especially. If you do not love yourself and work on your own alignment, and that means loving yourself continually, loving yourself wholeheartedly, completely, and when you do that, there is nothing that can trump that. There is no amount of anyone in the entire universe that can trump personal alignment and self-love. And so I hope that this served you. I don't know. I know I've rambled a lot, you guys, but I still feel like you can get like little tips in there, and maybe something served you and maybe nothing served you. And you're like, this is a stupid video. I don't even know why she did it. But anyway, I wanted to get a video out, and I do feel like this is evergreen material because, once again, it's talking about personal alignment and how we get so sidetracked on wanting other people to fulfill these needs within our own selves. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's basically we're using someone else as a catalyst for our own alignment, and that's our job to do that. It's not your spouse's job to do that. It's not Jeffrey's job to do that, and everything, the chips fall where they may. And as long as you can have the sense of freedom within yourself, because you love yourself so much, no one can freaking get in your way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody can bring me down. Only I can allow myself to be brought down if I start thinking about shit that's stupid and dumb and it's not going to serve me in any way in my life, which that's what humans do most of the time. They sit there and freaking think about dumb shit. Well, it's not dumb shit, but I'm just saying that it's like, you're only hurting yourself. Why are you going down that momentum? Why are you thinking that dumb? Why are you doing it? You're doing it, and you're thinking about these things that you know are not going to make you feel good. But you keep doing it anyway, and then you're like, I know I'm not going to feel good when I get there. I'm getting there. I got there. Now I feel like shit, so I'm not going to do that again. And we'll do it again. But that's the whole point of this physical life, right? Is to learn this stuff and to be able to grow and expand. I mean, and that, I'm all for that. And so, anyway, yes, this was a rambling session, and I love you for it, for listening to me, if you stuck around for 23 minutes. Okay, I love you, and as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao!